What up, YouTube? You can't stop trading and investing with your boy James E. Today is a beautiful day, and I want to get into two stocks. Two stocks I want to talk about is OZSC. OZSC. I want to get into the technicals from today, in the news catalyst that recently came out. That could potentially move this thing in a direction we're looking for. Also, I want to talk about AITX. I've been covering both these stocks for a while now, and I want to get into the technicals on that too and show you guys how I capitalize on these movements. But before we do that, man, please click that like button. Please subscribe. It is very much appreciated. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy that likes to research and analyze anything that I find interesting in the stock market, and I like to share that with anybody willing to listen. So, that being said, man, let's just get right into it, shall we? Let's start with OZSC. So as we know, and I've talked about it in the previous videos, if you haven't watched those videos, please go and do so. But we could see right here, just the news partners with Zeem to develop evolutionary EV charging solutions. So if you guys don't know who Zeem is, Zeem actually has a partnership agreement with Tesla. So just that connection of OZSC partnered with Zeem, that gives them a connection to Tesla and working on an EV charging solution. So we've had this massive run from 2 cents all the way up to 27 cents, which is beautiful. And then we've been having just this slowly downhill action, which is typical when you have a huge run, because we're talking, you know, from almost 1,000% run, you know, or even, yeah, that's what it is, more than that, from the 2 cent area. So, you know, just having a massive run. I've talked about it, dip buy opportunity after dip buy opportunity. And that's a way that you could capitalize in here. I have been missing them the last few times. Yesterday, I talked about it in the previous video, why I missed it with the whole craziness of the entire market with the GameStop and AMC. It was just wild. So I missed out my opportunity yesterday. But I did happen to capitalize on this small dip this morning. Where was it? Was it here? No, not there. Right down here. So I did capitalize on here and bought in the 12s. And then because just this red candle, just to be on caution, because it has been just completely dropping off. You know, I just wound up cutting it short, and I took a nice $123 profit. And used 2 day trades to do so, because originally I bought in here in the 12. And then on this red candle, it kind of spooked me out. So I just sold for basically break even, made about 20-something dollars on it. And then when this candle popped and broke this high, I decided to buy back in and then sold it instantly in this candle for another $100 profit. Just to take that quick action, because the chart speaks to you. The chart, it speaks for itself. So when you see that continuing motion, which it continues to have and been continuing to have in the last few days. Every time we have a drop, spikes back up. Drop, spikes back up. Drops, spikes back up. Drops again, spikes back up. So just recognizing that continuous action of this chart pattern, you know, that's a way that I like to capitalize on it, man. I like to actually watch a chart pattern for a while and watch it play out, see the movement of the intraday, and find a way to capitalize on it, whether it's a dip opportunity or whether it's a breakout opportunity. So, you know, I capitalized on that, just a small movement. And then now I'm actually liking what I'm seeing on this chart, because if we go into the daily, we have 3 red days in a row. So there's bound to be another green day. It's for me personally, there is bound to be a green day coming up. I wanted to capitalize yesterday. I thought about buying it at the close for a potential gap up, and that's exactly what happened. So that may very well be on my radar for the end of the day, because we got about an hour left in the market before it closes. So I may potentially buy this at the close, so that way I could try to capitalize on a potential gap up, because it looks like we're finally starting to slow down and form a base in this area. So that is definitely a possibility that I might consider, because as you can see, the grind action is starting to slow down. Or I might just wait for it to flatline before the reversal, because it still has a great catalyst linked to Tesla. Now AITX, again, these two kind of moved very similar. And same thing with here. We'd have this push, a drop, and push back up. Then a drop, then a push back up. Then a drop and a push back up. So again, if we go into the daily chart pattern, you could just recognize things, man. And as you follow these things, they get very familiar. So this stock tends to gap up. It just tends to gap up just a few cents, whether it winds up being a green day or a red day. So my goal was I actually purchased it at the end of day yesterday. And I bought it at the end of day in the 13.9s. And I was anticipating maybe a 1 cent gap up. And that's exactly what happened. It gapped up in the 14.7s. And I actually just got a great execution on it. When I put in my sale order, it immediately popped to the 16. So that put me up a 2 cent profit, which happened to be a $500 profit right in the beginning of the day. I missed completely out on this dip because I was out of day trades. I used my day trade to capitalize on OZSC, which, I took a nice little profit on there as well. I could have made an extremely, 10 times more profit if I'd have had a little more patience. But again, man, that's the name of the game. And we capitalize on the movements that we're familiar with and what our comfort levels are as individuals. And that's what I did. And then same thing with AITX. This is definitely a possibility for another buy at the end of the day for a potential gap up again tomorrow. Just like we got this morning, how I capitalized on that. Because this is also having multiple red days. And if you look at the history of it, even after the second red day here, closed at 2.6, and then gapped up to the threes, 329. So, and then same thing when we had this run here, boom, gapped up just like it did today, and then gapped up again. So, man, this thing has the potential to also gap up tomorrow morning. Still has a great catalyst. As you can see, if we go over here, the news came out today. Robotic assistance devices announced 2021 is off to a great start. And if we get into it, Artificial Intelligence Technologies today announced its wholly owned subsidiary, Robotic Assistant Devices, is experiencing strong demand and positive sales activities as calendar year 2021 begins. They previously announced through a press release that the receipt for a ROSA order from the large construction company, there was an expectation that this company and the entire construction industry would begin to start ordering additional ROSA units. RAD is pleased to confirm that this client recently reordered 2 additional units. This client has also indicated that several more orders should be forthcoming, potentially as early as the first week of February. So we got great news coming. Another great catalyst for this thing to bounce that came out today. So that could provide a great catalyst for a gap up tomorrow. And then OZSC still linked to Tesla in the EV charging solution with Zeem. That could also provide another catalyst for this thing to potentially gap up because they both have really great red days. This one had 3, this one had 2. But they're gapping up, even as this one wasn't an actual gap up, but it did have a small pop in the morning. So you could have capitalized on that 1 cent movement. And when you're talking pennies, 1 cent, you got 40,000 shares. 1 cent's a quick $400 when you put it into perspective. So again, capitalize. I could have capitalized on this one as well. Closed at 13.9, very similar to AITX. And this one actually shot up exactly the same to the 16s. Just like we did here in AITX, closed in the high 13s, shot up to the 16s before dropping. So 2 beautiful moves, and I'm definitely having them on my radar for a potential close, buying before the close and selling in the morning at the market open for a 1 or 2 cent gap up, which will clear me, a nice anywhere between 8 to 12% profit, and that is always great. So that's how I've been capitalizing on these. I get familiar with a chart pattern and I recognize the intraday movements and I try to capitalize on them. So winded up doing that with AITX, bought it at the end of the day yesterday, sold it in the pop this morning for a nice $500 profit. And then OZSC finally was able to capitalize on one of the dips, and I wound up collecting a little over $100 profit on one of the dips. So both of these are still very much in play. Both of these still have great catalysts that could propel this thing and have these things turn around. The fact that they're down so much is another catalyst to potentially buy, because these things will eventually reverse to have a green day. And OZSC looks like it's finally slowing down to the point where we might get a reversal. And then AITX, it's a little more choppy, but just the history of the chart and the history of the chart in the last few days are showing me that this still has the potential to gap up in the morning for a nice 10% profit. So both of these still very much on my radar. I'm looking to capitalize on both of these still. And these are still nice plays that you could trade and capitalize on when you get familiar with their movements. So AITX, OZSC, that's going to be it on the technicals for today. Let me know what you guys think of my analysis. Let me know if you guys see the same patterns I'm seeing, if you're capitalizing on those patterns. If you made it this far, please click that like button. Please subscribe. You can't stop Mafia is a mindset movement, meaning never stop yourself, never stop your progress, never stop your education, especially in finance. Having multiple streams of income is an amazing thing, and the stock market is a place where you can do that. So AITX, OZSC, very good dip buying opportunities and potential gap up opportunities, buying at the close, selling at the market open. So that's going to be it for today, guys. I'll be sure to keep you updated as much as possible. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.